10 years ago, a new breed of celebrity was born.
Your first performance could also be your last.
But these weren't the usual suspects.
We laid the foundations for the beast that has become reality television.
They were accidental heroes.
I look like such a tool.
You run, Subs.
Let's return to Airport.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Captain Robinson and his crew welcome you aboard this British United jet flight.
Of all the airports in all the world,
Time to Genoa,
Heathrow is probably the most glamorous.
27,000.
Yep, anyone who's anyone flies in or out of here.
Thanks very much indeed. Hope it goes well. Good luck with the film. Cheers.
Some celebrities love the attention. Others didn't. It was new territory for check-in supervisor Jeremy Spake.
Well, celebrity's interesting because you've actually got to know that they're a celebrity to start with, haven't you, really? Take care.
Thanks very much.
Pleasure.
Very nice man, very polite. Our friend Mr. Tone.
Veteran photographer Dennis Stone had no such problem. He was very familiar with some of the stars.
Very saucy.
Joan will always be the favourite because she's always so nice. She's always very friendly to me.
I'll see you soon.
So thanks a lot, Joan.
Then there was Steve Mellor and Russell Clisby, the airport's resident hack and snapper, who never missed a celebrity scoop. Well, maybe the odd one.
Where was Steve?
I found myself in the wrong position at the wrong time, shall we say.
Another day and another big name is due to touch down. A game of cat and mouse is about to begin.
Dennis?
Heathrow's very own paparazzi, Russell and Dennis, are on the prowl.
I think it's gate 21.
They're after a juicy exclusive that will make tomorrow's papers and make their fortune. First, they have to track down the celebrity. And this is a tricky one.
We've heard we're going to tip off from Spain, and possibly Victoria Beckham's on the move.
That'll be posh to you and me.
Tom, she'll come through up here. We don't know for sure, but the possibility is that Victoria could come in from Madrid. She might stay in London. Yeah. Then she goes up, and then she might just go on to Los Angeles, which means she wouldn't actually land herself, so no one else could get pictures apart from us. And if that's the case, then we've sort of got a little bit of an exclusive.
To get an exclusive photograph of Mrs. Beckham would make Steve a very happy and richer man. We all want to know what the latest Beckham style will be, apparently.
Gate 21, has it?
But has she given our boys the slip?
She can't go that way. She's got to go through security. Got to go through security. Fingers crossed.
Here she comes. But she's adopted the I'm on a secret international mission look, which makes it mission impossible for our guys.
Can I explain to you then, sir?
We're going to get connected for what?
I know, but I've just tried to tell you what's happening. You might want to know what's happening, that's all. I thought Victoria might be interested.
Let's rewind 10 years, when a different A-lister was about to give the guys a run for their money.
It's just coming around the corner now.
If they could get it, this story was going to be a big one. A very big one. Yes, this was before it all went a bit pear-shaped for Jacko. Back then, he was hitting the headlines for all the right reasons.
A severe attack of hysteria occurred at Heathrow Airport in London this afternoon, and it's likely to continue at different places in Britain for the next 2 months.
Already the press are full of stories of his unusual habits, the wacko-jacko syndrome. The nearly 2 million fans are expected to see him between now and September in what's probably the most talked about musical event of this year.
So all eyes were on Heathrow and its big arrival. The pressure was on. This was one story that resident hack Steve couldn't mess up.
What, round there?
But guess what?
I found myself in the wrong position at the wrong time, shall we say.
So Steve, just how do you miss the biggest story of the year?
We got a call that he was flying in that evening, and so we went over to Terminal 4.
Fingers crossed, we'll get something. And usually with Michael Jackson, he would be driven off the airport because there'd usually be quite a lot of fans there. And he would be driven out of a special gate, but we waited on arrivals just in case. That car was the same one that was at the Concorde, and the other chap got into it.
He's meeting somebody else.
But we saw that chap come out first, he got in it.
Yeah.
So we're waiting there. We've been waiting there a long time, and we suddenly started to get the suspicion he'd been taken another way, as you do. You start, journalists are notoriously twitchy people, so you start panicking a bit.
We're just trying to establish what's happened to him. If I remember rightly, Steve walked off.
I suddenly saw someone from the airline special services team. I saw her go by and thought, well, maybe they've slipped him out another way, so I better go and have a quick chat with her in case we're just standing here wasting our time.
So while Steve was playing detective, Russell was about to get very, very lucky.
So I went up the other end of the building, and this woman got in a lift. And I got in the lift with her. I said, what have you done with Jacko? Is he gone? She said, I know, he'll be coming out any minute.
Can we just get one? We'll keep well away. We can just get one picture. Okay, I'll
Pleased to be in Britain.
Just keep walking.
You happy to be here? Any message for your fans?
Just leave it alone.
That was the result, wasn't it?
By the time I got back down the lift and back down to arrivals, he'd gone.
Oh, he's got in the car and gone, has he?
He's just got in one of those space vans and gone. That was a good job. I remember that very well, and I think that went front page.
You've been hit by, you've been struck by a smooth criminal.
Michael!
A great day for Russell, but Steve was left feeling very hacked off.
That's the first time that had ever happened, and that's probably the last time I've ever missed a job like that. And it had to be when the TV cameras were on me.
Ah, don't worry, Steve. Things are going to perk up soon. Meanwhile, for Aeroflot supervisor Jeremy Spake, the world of celebrity was all a bit of a mystery. Working for a Russian airline, he didn't exactly get many stars passing through his gate.
I don't even know who he is.
And when they did, he was more dumbstruck than starstruck.
Well, celebrity's interesting because you've actually got to know that they're a celebrity to start with, haven't you, really? But we had an event where we had Quincy Jones travelling with us. Now, for anybody that doesn't know who Quincy Jones is, and I confess at the time I had no idea who he was.
Yeah, he would be the famous record producer, the one who made massive hits for Michael Jackson, amongst others.
Everybody was getting really excited.
Quincy Jones. Now we know what we're looking for, because I had no idea. Yes, definitely look. Girls and boys, this is this record producer we're looking for.
And the only reason I'd seen a picture of him is because the sound engineer from the film crew was a big fan and had got a magazine and his picture happened to be in it. And I said, well, thank the Lord your picture's here, because I wouldn't know. Well, I'm telling you, that thing was airbrushed. Because when he turned up, he looked about 70, poor old boy. And he trotted around. I mean, it was almost a case of the Zimmer.
Have you had a smooth passage?
Sorry, what was that, Jeremy?
Have you had a smooth passage through the system? Because we've had phone calls about you since 6:30 this morning, panicking that they couldn't get hold of you and do this and do that. We just hope that everything's run according to plan.
Everything's fine.
Anyway, we got him to the aircraft and we sat him down and the crew were looking at me, who's he? And I said, well, I've got no idea, girls, but anyway, lavish him with love, he's a celebrity.
Yeah, I meant to say. Very nice man, very polite. Our friend, Mr. Jones.
So, are A-listers really so different from the rest of us? One man who did know his stars was veteran photographer Dennis. He's photographed a few in his time. There's the caring, friendly local ones.
He's very good at walking backwards, up the escalator backwards, along the walkway backwards, you know. Sometimes I do actually tell him to be careful. When there's a mob, they get crazy. It's difficult to imagine Dennis getting crazy, but if there's a mob of them and they get very excited, then they can fall over backwards. It's part of that, it's the danger of the job.
Ah, bless. But then there are the Hollywood types, who are too big for their blarnix. Cue working girl Melanie Griffiths.
Me and my baby and me.
Just one of those. We heard Melanie Griffith was coming in. You had the camera team down there, so we went out to meet her.
Back then, Griffiths had just divorced Don Johnson for the second time. And who can blame her with that jacket? Still, she was a big star, and now she was single. The newspapers wanted to know her next move.
Miss Griffiths.
But hang on, who's that she's with then? Looks like she's got a new beau already. Yep, meet soon-to-be husband number 3, Hollywood heartthrob, Mr. Antonio Banderas. And they're not stopping for nobody.
Not in the best of moods, I'm afraid, today, but there we are. We've got our pictures. We've recorded her coming in. It's kind of pretty.
And then you have the snap me all you like, I'm only the girl next door type of celebrity. And the boys loved her.
Always, you know, she was good. And if ever she sort of turned around and said, oh, not today, no problems.
Back then, this star was still fairly new to fame. She just made a lovely little film, but what she really wanted was to appear on that big TV show, Airport.
Kate Winslet came up to me and said, you know, I've watched the programme loads of times.
Mum and Dad really watches it,
Yeah. When am I going to be on it? I met her outside and I said, you know you want to be on the programme, Kate? She said, yes. I said, well, today's your day.
Hi, Kate.
Thanks, Kate.
So everyone's happy. Well, no, Steve still needed an in-depth interview.
Well, look, it's only me.
Yeah.
Watch and learn, the master's at work. Warm them up with a bit of small talk, and then it's in for the kill.
Is it your first nude scene in Holy Smoke, is it?
Yep, that's what sells newspapers.
Is it your first nude scene in Holy Smoke, is it?
First?
First.
When did it me?
No, that was just going by what your website said.
Oh, no, I mean... No, I've done a bit of nudity before.
Yeah.
Only do it if it's justified.
Yes, and this is justified.
Oh, my God, yes. Absolutely.
Right.
That went down about as well as a sinking ship. Sorry, I don't write this stuff.
OK, right, thanks a lot, Kate. OK, bye.
Girls, 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 girls.
Anyway, staying with the subject of nudity, there's one guy who's always happy to oblige.
He's a bit of a legend, isn't he, Hugh Hefner? You know, everyone's sort of heard of him. And just one of those funny days at Heathrow. You never know what's going to happen next.
On this occasion, what was about to happen next was like something out of Playboy magazine. No, literally. It was a day any red-blooded man would get excited about, and these two were no exception.
And he's got these 3 girls with him. Well, I mean, you can imagine what these Playboy girls look like. Blimey. And this old fella comes down the steps with these gorgeous-looking girls.
They've got the twins, was it Randy and... No, not Randy, sure. Randy and Mandy. You've got the twins there who are 20 and the other girl's 24, and you add all their ages together and they don't quite come to Hefner's age, really.
Viagra for you.
Viagra, yeah. Only joking, you. Sure you're a fine, upstanding fella.
Steve had lead in his pencil, and Russell had polished his longest lens. First out is Sandy, or is it Mandy? Closely followed by Brandy, and then Mandy, and bringing up the rear is Randy.
Just come down. Mr. Hefner, we need you in the middle, sir.
Looks like everyone's feeling a bit chilly.
Let's go in Japan. They know how to please a man. Dropping in for tea for my geisha.
I'm just in the middle here, thanks. Okay.
When it comes to pleasing, they know their way.
That's the pick stun. Now, what can you ask a man with millions of dollars and his own plane and matching girlfriends?
The only thing I could think of asking was how it works with his 3 girlfriends, you know, because it does rather make the mind boggle.
Is there a bit of jealousy there, though? No. It's, you know, two more sisters, and no, very, very well.
Steve's questioning technique isn't going to get him on Newsnight, but at least Russell is happy.
But these will be my first Playboy photographs, actually. I've photographed a few people, but never for Playboy.
Similar poses, though.
Oh, I didn't need that question.
For Jeremy, day-to-day life at Heathrow was less than glamorous. But today, he's hoping to put the mundane aside as he prepares to welcome his favourite kind of VIP.
It was a monumental occasion, and we'd arranged this huge party in the departure lounge with sandwiches and all these wonderful things.
But the day didn't get off to a great start.
We're set, really, to be honest. So it's not working, is it? Just I'm plagued today. Computers don't work. My flowers arrived in the nick of time, and now my screens are not working. Somebody is definitely trying to upset me.
So who is this VIP Jeremy's getting in such a flap about? Well, it's not your average celebrity, let's put it that way.
This particular aircraft is the latest in terms of technology, and there's an awful lot of airlines that would like them that haven't got them.
Yes, Jeremy's VIP is a plane.
We're like peacocks. We're all sticking our feathers up in the air and saying, well, we can get it, so, you know.
Sounds mad, but trust us, this was big news at the time.
Aeroflot, the Russian airline, specialised in brusque staff and smelly planes. But now things are to change. After decades of abuse, the much maligned airline is having a complete makeover.
Well, I guess the thing about Russia is that, and Aeroflot as an airline, it was perceived very much as being, you know, this terribly outdated old thing where the stewardesses shaved their legs with a sickle and grunted at you generally, and there was no real service.
In the 70s and 80s, this airline's nickname was Aeroflop, with planes that didn't take off, long delays and bad service. Even the Russians themselves weren't impressed.
They try to announce the delays a few hours at a time. That way passengers aren't too shocked. First we're told there's a 12-hour delay, then a 24-hour delay. It happens all the time.
A spokesman was on hand to reassure everyone.
Well, we will give them official reason later on when we investigate.
And everyone was now happy as Larry. No wonder Jeremy wanted everything to be perfect for the launch of the new plane.
We were insistent that the whole day was going to be one of these seamless sort of portrayals of glorious Russian achievement.
Naturally, the finest local fizz was brought in.
Yeah, probably best keep the cool drinks on ice.
Yeah, if we call a few of them out and put some in.
Yeah. You know, at the time, we all felt so proud.
Pilot?
No, I mean...
And the airline's most important VIPs were tracked down for a photo call.
We'll get the chief stewardess out. She's actually maybe not, because she's quite old.
You will choose yourself, anyway.
Yeah, you come and choose which stewardess you want for the picture, because the chief's quite old, bless her. And she's got the laughter lines to prove it. Right. We're just now going down for a little photo call.
Suddenly, there seems to be some confusion over who is the VIP here.
My morning British Airways smile, by the way. I used to practice that.
And then there was that specially commissioned red doormat. Sorry, carpet.
This carpet sort of turned up at the 9th hour and was waterlogged. It had been stood out in the rain and no one had actually noticed it, and so we had to frantically find another one that was dry.
Isn't that stunning as a temporary replacement while we wait for our proper carpet to turn up?
It's rather sad. It doesn't...
A piece of shag pile you find in some really sad person's caravan. I'm very upset about that piece of carpet.
And after all that fuss, what was Jeremy's biggest worry? Why, the passengers, of course.
The only shame of it is that we've got to put people in it. Do you know when you've got a new car and it's got that new smell to it and you get your first smoker in there and you don't really like to be impolite, so please don't light up in my new car, and someone gets in and then has a McDonald's in your back seat or something and it all starts to smell. But it's that sort of thing with the aircraft, really. You don't want people in there making it messy. Shame, really.
Despite the occasional minor mishap, the food arrived on time, the passengers behaved themselves, which was a novelty in itself, and we got everybody on and away it went.
Apart from the one who got a bit carried away with his gourmet cheese sandwich.
Well, she's all you'd ever want. She's the kind I'd like to flaunt and take to dinner.
When it came to red carpets, Royal Suite manager Anita Newcourt certainly knew her shag pile from her wool mix.
It's not coming off.
No, I don't think we have been much joy doing this. I think you've got...
She had some pretty important people to impress.
Good afternoon.
Congratulations for the promotion.
Her job was all about creating the right first impression for the world's royals and presidents.
Gents, yes.
I may come across as relaxed at the Royal Suite, but I'm often quite tense to make sure that everything goes right. But I can't show that. I've got to be completely calm and collected, because people look at you and they follow you and they will panic if you panic.
Anita speaking.
It meant being jack of all trades. Ed Gardner, chief flag flyer, expert in foreign etiquette.
How does it go? You bend at the waist, doesn't it?
Is it from this right away?
Yes.
Yeah.
Detective,
Where are the RAF? I'm going to start handling you now.
negotiator and diplomat.
It is, absolutely. If you're naughty, you get smacks. Welcome back.
Then I see you.
Please, no, please.
And the most important skill in all of this? Good communication.
All along here, and then move into position from here when the aircraft engines have come to a halt.
So it obviously helps to make yourself heard. Not easy on the best of days. But then someone had a bright idea which would take things to a whole new decibel level.
Did try and explain that actually there is one aircraft every minute and a half taking off at Heathrow.
No, this certainly wasn't the kind of place you'd stage an outdoor concert. But that wasn't stopping anybody!
The Foreign Office asked us about having a band to meet Prince Sultan of Saudi Arabia because they wanted to make him feel extra welcome and extra special.
For those who aren't familiar with the Saudi national anthem, this is what the Foreign Office wanted the Sultan to hear. But add some giant engines and some ambient screeching of tyres, and this is what one of the world's most powerful princes was actually greeted with. Still, top marks for effort.
I don't think I make the charts.
Sorry, what was that, Steve?
I don't think I make the charts.
You can say that again.
It was not as bad as I thought.
Anita, ever the optimist. He didn't look like he was much in the mood anyway. Photographer Dennis has been working at Heathrow for over 60 years. And when you've got that many photos under your belt, you can be forgiven for getting a bit nostalgic.
Everybody has their good old days they can look back on. Nothing like memories and reminiscent things. Because when you get old, you haven't got any memories, you're a bit boring.
Oh, Derek. Britt Eklund, Ringo and George came in, Paul McCartney and Linda. They're absolutely wonderful.
Who needs Hello magazine when you've got this lot on your wall?
Twiggy. Posh there with her lovely legs. Goldie Hawn, another great friend. She gave me a lovely kiss one night, right on the lips. Well, everybody was green with envy.
With those assets, we're not surprised.
Smashing girl, Elle Macpherson. And Kylie Minogue, I saw her when she first came in.
So many women, so little time.
And Sophie Loren, I think she's probably the most beautiful girl in the world. Most prettiest girl in the world.
And his favourite?
And there's my Joan. I don't know, I'd love to think she's my girlfriend, but her husband might not appreciate that. She'll always be my favourite. She's lovely.
And when it came to Joan, it was all about mixing business with pleasure. They don't make them like that anymore. Let's rewind 10 years. And to the day Dennis became a bit of a celebrity in his own right. But for all the wrong reasons.
I felt so embarrassed afterwards. I was a bit rude. But it went down quite well, I gather, but I was a bit naughty.
It was the day Richard Branson threw a party, and everyone was very excited.
I went into the Virgin Clubhouse, where we all met to join Richard on his inaugural flight to Johannesburg and Sun City.
Right, so far so good.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hello, Mrs. Branson. Nice seeing you again.
Yes, you too. Nice. We have to get in the mood now, won't we?
That's right.
And things were about to get even merrier.
Anyway, Richard is always very generous, and so is the champagne. And I had a bit too much.
Yes, Dennis was making the most of it.
Take your lens cap off.
Come on, Dennis.
By the time I got down to the aircraft, Richard was standing there welcoming everybody aboard. This is going to be some wild trip. He took a jacket off one of the hostesses, red jacket, and put it on the floor of the plane.
I've given the red carpet. Come on then.
That's for you.
This is when any sober person would have said thank you very much.
I said, I don't want that jacket, I want yours. So he took that up and took his jacket off and put it on the floor, and I walked over his jacket and said, thank you, Sir Walter Branson. Sir Walter Raleigh, Sir Richard Branson. Thank you very much.
Let's see you jump it. Let's see you jump it.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I've never asked him about it. I was going to write a letter to him to apologise, but my son said, don't, Daddy, I love that.
Goodbye, everybody. Bye.
So did this faux pas spell the end of a long and distinguished career? No. But after appearing on just one series of airports, we didn't see Dennis on our screens again. He decided there was only one side of the camera for him, and it wasn't in front of it.
I mean, I've had people come up and say, you're a star. I say, I'm not a star, I've just been in a little series. I thought, no. Somebody said, get out while you're doing good, while you're ahead. So I decided to get out while I was ahead.
But the show must go on. So next time on Return to Airport, it's not all celebrity fluff.
What's going on?
When big news comes to town, you either get
I'm
it...
very pleased with what I've got there. It's about the second time I've ever used this camera.
Or you don't.
Got you been any message for the fans at all about what happened?
Jeremy has a chaotic orchestra to conduct.
That bloke's lost his flute. I mean, what a twit.
And Anita finds big names mean big headaches.
The ambassador's wife stuck in the loo.